Copyright disclaimer. Under Title 17 U.S.C. Section 107, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. Fair use is permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing, non-profit, educational, or personal use, tips the balance in favor of fair use. Okay, guys. This is from the website Scientology L. Ron Hubbard. Hold on a minute here. Okay, I just want to make sure this was not someone bashing. This is Ex-Scientologist Nathan Rich about Scientology, dated 10 July 2019. Over the years, I've been asked many questions. Some of them frequently come up, and so I've listed them here. To submit another question, please contact me directly. Many of these questions will be answered more thoroughly in my upcoming book, Scythe, Tleppo. Are you an anti-Scientologist? I am a former Scientologist. I'm not against the beliefs of any Scientologist, and I recognize and fully respect their right to believe anything they choose. I am against lying and deceit that the Scientology Corporation and its followers use to obfuscate their intentions and beliefs. I am against abuses in tax-exempt status for abusive organizations. Tax exemption is support from the government and deserved only in cases where abuse is not a core feature. Disconnecting families is abuse. I don't sit around all day thinking about Scientology. I am not going after Scientology or Scientologists. I simply work to expose my experience and disallow misinformation around me when it comes to subjects I have experience with. One of those subjects happens to be Scientology. And there's a YouTube video. Do you have faith now? Are you a Christian? When I got out of Scientology, I was still a Scientologist in the way that I viewed life and thought about reality. Over many years, my viewpoint shifted to be less and less aligned with Scientology. I no longer consider myself a Scientologist in thought or belief. However, I do still hold some very basic ideas as likely, which are entirely faith-based. I personally believe that there is something behind the physical reality which is not physical. I personally believe we are more than the physical sum of our parts. I accept that these are not evidence-backed beliefs. The only dangers I have detected in having these beliefs is that I sometimes find myself more passive in life, believing somehow I have much more time than this life. I am trying to work on this issue. I strongly feel that the specifics of Christianity, along with every other religion, are quite obviously factually incorrect. I think the value of religions is real. I think the underlying messages have merit. I do believe that there is more to life than we can understand. And to me, religion is the attempt of humans to articulate that feeling. And unlike several people I admire, like Sam Harris, I do believe the underlying truth is represented there. How did you break the indoctrination of Scientology? I never set out to break the indoctrination of Scientology. As I grew up, I, by default, believed Scientology. There were always little strange inconsistencies and things that didn't sit right in my mind, but overall I believed it was true. I just didn't care about the truth in the same way others did. I didn't care if Scientology was the only way to help the planet and save all our souls and so on. I just wanted to be a kid and live my life. By the time I was out of Scientology, I was already indoctrinated to the deepest levels possible. I believed I was a Thetan. I believed Scientology was all true. I believed in aliens and the entire history laid out by Lafayette Hubbard. Again, I just didn't care. It's not like this kid had a choice, did he? I lived on the streets homeless for many years. As I continued my drug abuse that started at the Mace Kingsley Ranch, I mostly ignored Scientology as a study and took to observing things for myself. I did not seek out anti-Scientology people or information. I did not seek out counseling or any kind of assistance with understanding the nature of reality or myself. The break was very, very gradual for me. One of the first things that shook parts of the edges of belief for me was when I started understanding what Scientology words meant in the normal world. Invalidate, for example, in Scientology, is more similar in meaning to make fun of or insult. When I realized that invalidate actually means to successfully negate something or to show something is actually untrue, a seed was planted. Yes, see, they're controlling people in Scientology. Postulate is a word in Scientology that means to actually create some reality by using intention alone. It's commonly used in a similar way as hope something will happen. But in fact, we believed if you postulated strong enough, that thing would actually happen. As I learned that to postulate something actually means to assert something as being true, the edges broke a little further. Ironically, by learning the actual words in English, I was in effect clearing my misunderstood words. The misunderstood words Scientology itself introduced me to. These small cracks widened and grew deeper as other things I had always observed to not be true became more glaring. Learning that in fact almost no one had ever heard of Scientology when I got out in 1999. I realized something was wrong with the message of worldwide dissemination Scientology was putting out. Over the years, I found again and again smart people, smart, successful people. None of these people believed in Scientology, and yet they were so successful. I examined my family and looked for signs of superhuman achievement and success. I didn't find any. As I slowly pulled myself out of the horrible life of homelessness, wonder how old he was when he was homeless. I'll bet he was just another kid that Scientology kicked to the curb, just like they did Serge Obolinski. I became more industrious. Working any job I could get, I realized my family never enjoyed working and was constantly trying out the latest get-rich-quick pyramid scheme or low-labor job. It became a thorn in my mental side. Why were they so insistent on doing as little work as possible? Why were they so lazy? Something was wrong. There were many, many other small indicators like these, and over time, as I thought about the depths of life and reality, each thing I thought I knew slowly fell apart. There was no single realization that Scientology was wrong. It was a slow cracking and breaking. Continues part 2. Okay, so I clicked on one of the links in the article. I'm going to continue with this. This is about his book, and it is from Scientology Clear. Scientology Scythe. When a person leaves the cult of Scientology and speaks out about it, some get rewarded with a hate site strictly personal, and often with a lot of material from their secret confessions. It's from the auditing of a very private nature. Relatives and friends from Scientology might be speaking out and tell the world about how bad you are. Damned ex-Scientologist. Very, very bad every day in school and outside. Black and white is the thing. Yeah, I guess even the babysitters are speaking out against him. How much you bet they were one of the abusers? Even the earliest babysitters, I don't know what this is, but they're misspelling words, but that's okay. Even the earliest babysitters witness it. PIs don't mix up the word babysitter with the expression Sinositter, which is a Scientology software that alters the operative software on your computer. Nuanced, know it is Scientology. And this is about a former member that has been crazy enough to tell the truth about what he went through to his Scientology family. This is one of their schools. I believe this is another Mace Kingsley. So right now, as we speak, children are still getting abused. Isn't that fantastic? It's wonderful. And look at all the fake happiness. Oh, look at me. I'm in a Scientology school where I get physically abused, neglected. I don't get enough food. A lot of these children are being essayed. You see how they're all putting the thumb up? Does that kid look happy? No. That's when you know it's propaganda. When everybody's smiling like craziness, you know? And that was the same with the Dugar family, the Mormon television show where everyone was smiling like everything's perfect and the children are just sitting there like little robots. Meanwhile, one of the daughters was getting essayed from one of her brothers. In Scientology Farm, everything is nice however, Nathan Rich wrote a book about his life in a Scientology family. It's him and Aaron Levin Smith. Aaron Levin Smith has a really good playlist that I'm going to be listening to. The Aftermath of Scientology, Punk Rock, and Addiction. Nathan Rich authored one of the best books written about Scientology, From the Inside. It is actually available on Amazon. It's a little expensive, but worth the money. A book that also might be hinting at us about why many books never were written. The ratings on Amazon are all positive. Okay, so I'll leave the link in the description box. Like and subscribe if you choose. Otherwise, have an amazing day or night wherever you are. Peace.